Hey, what's up boys and girls? Today we'll be drawing Bulbasaur from Pokemon. Feel free to draw along and pause the video whenever you like to catch up with me. Let's take a look at the materials we need for this drawing. So you're going to need a pencil, a black marker, an eraser, and crayons. Now we're going to need a little bit more crayons than we usually do because as you can see in this example drawing of Bulbasaur, there's a lot of colors. We have one shade of green, two shades of green, three shades of green, and each green has a light tone, mid-tone, and a dark tone. Okay? So another way to say it, some area in shadow, some area in highlight. Okay? And then we have also some red, some pink. So there's a lot of colors, and and Bulbasaur's green, it's actually a very unique green that you can't find everywhere. So we're gonna try to mix it by overlaying colors, layer by layer. Okay? So I have right here like a grass green, so yellowish grass green. I have a light for the highlight, and then the mid-tone color and the dark tone color. Okay, so right here for the eyes and the mouth, I have a pink, a red, and a reddish brown. And then for the greens on the body, I have these two different shades of green. Okay, so this one is a little bit more greenish, and this one's a little bit more bluish. The more greenish color is for the body, and then the bluish color is for all these spots. And then I actually have a very dark blue and a very dark black. I'm going to layer these in for the dark shadows in here. Okay, so that's as far as crayons. And I also have a sticky roller here with me to help me clean up. So this helps out a lot. Okay, make things easier, less messy. Alright, so let's move my crayons aside. And let's take a look at our drawing. Let's take a look at our example. And let's see what shapes and form we can use to help us create Bulbasaur. So Bulbasaur's head is, you can start it off with kind of like an oval shape. See? And then based on that oval shape, we can modify here and there, modify the curves to bump up the cheeks. Okay? And if we draw our cross on our oval, we'll be able to see the spherical form of this oval. Okay? And then we got two triangles or cone shapes on the top two corners for the ears. The eyes themselves are not circles this time. They are kind of like a triangular shape, but each edge are curved. Okay? So very big mouth, some triangles for the teeth. Now the body, it's a very big elongated egg or pear shape. Pear like the fruit. See that? And the four legs are oval shapes. And we have one last leg that's hidden behind all these other shapes, but just from this curve here, you can tell where it's approximately located at. Okay? And then we have this big bulb in the back, kind of like a garlic. I look at it as like a garlic shape. It looks very much like a garlic. Okay? So it's actually a big oval shape like that. And then you just modify the tip right here to come out to form this garlic shape. Yep, so let's get into it. Let's start drawing Bulbasaur. Okay? So I'm going to move my example to the side. Okay, let's start. I'm going to start with the face. Now I'm going to draw a little bit smaller than my example drawing. And it's fine. Okay, you can scale things down. So I'm going to mark the left, the right, the top, and the bottom for my oval, and just kind of see how well I got it right. So if we measure with our pencil tool here, okay, that's how tall this oval is. This is how wide it is. So it's almost a circle, but it's just a little bit longer in the sides. I'm going to do it here. Okay, so I think I can make the marks on the left and the right a little bit tighter. Okay, so if you're like me, you're not good at drawing spheres and circles. You can draw in the four corners and then draw in the other four corners and then connect the lines. Now you have a very nice oval, circular shape. Okay? And then I'm going to draw in my cross on my sphere. Okay? And then I'm going to draw in the body. So, like we talked about, it's an elongated, kind of like an egg shape. Okay, then I measure the angle, the body. It's good. Okay, so we have our long egg shape here for the body. Then I will put in the arms. So we got one arm right here. See the egg shape? Oval. Okay. And the rear legs. Okay, and then we have this leg right here. Okay, one last leg in the back. I'm not going to draw the whole oval because you kind of get the idea. Okay, I'm going to make this part flat, the bottom of it, to shape like kind of like the foot, the feet. Okay, so you see that my circle can probably, my oval for the head can probably be a little bit bigger. I think we'll work with this. So my cross, probably a little bit more to the left to be more accurate because he's facing a little bit more to the left. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the big garlic shape in the back. So a giant sphere like this. See that? If I overlap the shapes. And then I'm going to make this top part here come out. Okay, and the ears. So I'm going to have one ear right here, and the other ear is about right here. Draw in the ears. Okay, and I'm going to modify our oval a little bit. Okay, to drawing like the cheek with the mouth opens. Okay, I'm going to put in the eyes. So use our cross. Okay, I'm doing this side as well. Okay, and then drawing the mouth. Look at that beautiful smile. Okay, so the eyes, kind of like right here and right here. Okay, so now I have like an overall basic shape of Bulbasaur. I'm going to start refining it and add in some details. So let's take a look at here and see what kind of details we can add in. Okay, so this garlic shape right here, I'm going to draw in these dividing lines on each petal, like garlic petals. Okay. Draw these in on the top. Okay, and then now let's add in all these spots, kind of where they are. So, now I wouldn't stress out about getting exactly where they are. It's just about right, because if you look at like different drawings of Bulbasaur in the animation or in the comic book or in the trading card game, you're gonna find like a lot of times like the spots change places, change location. It's like in this episode, he's like missing a spot, and then in the other episode, he gets like an extra spot. Okay, so don't stress out about getting it right. So I'm drawing in the fingernails right now. They're little tiny cones on the feet. Okay. 3 more here. So when I draw cones, I like to draw the base of the cone, which is like an oval, and then draw the sides of the cone. That's how I draw cones. Okay, so let's keep going here and see which line is definitive. So when I begin drawing in the beginning, all my lines are very light, because I'm not sure which line is correct and which one is not. Okay, I'm kind of guessing in the beginning, it's a lot of guessing. But as I keep drawing and drawing, I become more and more certain. Like, yes, that line is correct. That line is exactly where I want it. And some other lines that, maybe I made a mistake, I will just leave it there because it's so light. As my drawing becomes darker and darker, my lines become more and more definitive. Like those lighter lines will just kind of fade away as you make the other lines darker. Add in a little teeth here, add in this teeth here. Alright. There's an oval here. And now, this part of the drawing and sketch part of it, it usually takes the longest. So if you do have to pause the video to catch up with me, that's fine. You have to go backwards and see how I draw some of the shapes. You can do that too. Okay, so making the back. Good. So now we have the basic line work of Bulbasaur complete. So actually, I grab my eraser here and change the location of this oval right here. And it's like his iris. Just move it a little bit lower. Yep, that would be a more accurate location. Actually, erase this one. Move it a little bit to the right. There. Awesome. Okay. Clean this up a little bit. Now I'm going to grab my trusty marker and start tracing. Now when you're tracing, when you're doing like a very long curve, like what I just did, feel free to rotate the paper and feel free to break up the lines into different sections so you don't have to draw the entire stroke at once. You can combine two strokes into one, okay? Another thing that is very good to remember is I like to trace from top down and then left to right. The reason is so that if my marker doesn't dry as fast, I won't smear my line work. when you're drawing, if you push down very hard on your marker, you'll be able to get a thicker line. And vice versa, lighter will give you thinner lines. So when I'm drawing like a spot on his body, I will draw really lightly. Okay, so last but not least, the big bulb in the back. Okay, so now I have that. I'm gonna grab my eraser and start erasing all the pencil lines that I don't need. I should miss the nose. There you go. Oh, oops. Don't go too hard. Oh, it's a risk to wrinkle the paper like me. Urgh. Okay. See, if I drew a little bit lighter, it'll be easier to erase. Then I wouldn't have that wrinkle right there. Ah, it's gonna flatten out when I lay in the colors. You won't notice it, I promise. Okay. Alright, let's clean this up. Okay. I'm gonna actually start coloring in with like the lightest colors, which is like the eyes and the tongue, because it's so light in color. So I'm gonna grab my pink first and just lay in these colors on the tongue. And then I'm going to grab my red. See how when I'm doing the eyes, I'm following the shape of the eyes when I color it in. So the eyes is like a spherical shape, and I'll follow that shape. Okay, now I'm going to grab like this reddish brown, okay, and I'm going to draw in like the shadow. So if you look at our reference drawing, see the shadow right here, and shadow right here. So we're going to draw in those dark shadows. So when I lay in this brownish red, it's going to give you, feel that the shadow is darker. There you go. And then the shadow here. Cool. Next, I'm going to work on this big garlic in the back. Okay, so I'm going to grab my lighters. Look at my sample. I'm going to draw in all the highlights first. Okay. So we have the highlights here. So it is going to be very light, and that is fine because it's the highlight. Okay, and then I'm going to draw in mid-tone. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and color in the entire area, because you can make a color darker by overlaying another color around top of it, but you can't make a color lighter by doing that. That's why I don't overlay the color on the highlights in the lighter area, but I would do it for the shadow area. Okay, so now the shadow. So the shadow I'm going to push down a little bit harder to make sure I can sink in that color. Alright, next we're going to work on the body. Yes, finally. Okay, so let's grab that green that we need. And I'm just going to very lightly go over the entire body. Okay, so I'm drawing on the areas where there are highlights first. Okay, that kind of covers all the areas with the highlights. Oh, there's this little piece of detail here. I add it in right now. Okay, so now I'm going to color in the rest of the mid-tone area. Okay. I'm going to draw out like the edge of the highlight. Right here. And right here. And we got some right here. And some right here. Okay. Start coloring in. Again, try to follow the form, the shape as much as possible when you're filling the color. And the goal for this layer is just an even, nice layer of colors. Alright, and then I'm going to grab that other green and then color in the spots. Okay, so now I'm going to grab this dark blue that I have and start laying down a layer of color Okay, first I'm going to do it on the spots. So you'll see that when I lay down this blue, it does becomes darker. Okay, because crayons are so bright in color, sometimes it's very hard to get some nice dark colors in there. That's why sometimes you have to overlay the colors in there. Okay, now I'm going to work on the shadow. So I'm going to throw on a layer of blue. Not too much, because I'm going to throw on another layer of black later on to really darken it up. But when you throw on the black, you have to do it very lightly, or else it's going to be too dark, because the black is very powerful. It's just so dark, it will overpower all the other colors. And it'll become too dark before you know it. So, very careful when you're using black. But right now we're just going to throw in this layer of blue that we have. Okay, and for the ear here. Okay. So now next I'm going to grab my black. And just go very lightly. Light layer in here. To really darken this up. Okay, add a little bit of that black in here as well. Okay, I'm going to grab that blue and just throw that blue in here a little bit to make this ring a little bit darker. See how when I overlay this blue on top of the green, it becomes darker green? That's exactly what I need. Okay, so I'm filling some of these areas. Okay, grab my black and just very lightly go over here. There's some shadow on the eyes over here. And right here. The teeth. Okay. Good. Now I'm going to clean it up with my roller. Now the last step is to grab our marker again. I'm going to make the profile outlines a little bit darker. So it's going to help make the entire character stand out a little more. Okay, so feel free to rotate the page when you add the outline. Alright, and we have Bulbasaur of Pokemon. Hope you guys enjoyed this session of drawing. Let me know in the comments below what we should draw next. And always don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.